machine learning process. So, with this small introduction, I invite Geeta Jennifer Madam to address the gathering. Welcome, Madam. Madam?
Welcome you, sir.
Yeah.
So, good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon, Madam.
I hope you are all safe during this lockdown period. So, I am Geeta Jennifer, Assistant Professor in St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering. Today, I am going to present a topic, CART and Machine Learning using R. Dear participants, so how many of you remember playing the game of 20 questions? In this game, one person would think of an animal or a place or a famous personality. Others would ask questions to guess it. The game would go something like this. The person said, I am thinking of an animal. The question is, does it have more than 5 legs? The person said, no. The next question is that a wild animal? The person said, yes. So the next question is, does it appear on the back of the Indian coin? The person said, yes. So the next question, is that a lion? The person said, yes, it is. This is exactly how we would create a decision tree for any data science problem. Now I am going to discuss the math behind this. So here the topics of discussion is introduction, some machine learning techniques, then CART, classification, regression, some basic concepts in R programming, performance measures, finally conclusion. So here the decision tree is one of the supervised learning predictive model. So it uses set of binary rules to calculate a target value. So target value means response value or output value. This decision tree is used for either classification purpose or regression purpose. So hence it is also known as CART, that is classification and regression trees. Here the classification means it's the process of finding or discovering a model. It helps separate the data into multiple categorical classes. That means one data set is given. In that data set, the response variable is a categorical one means. That means either yes or no, or red or gray, or male or female, like that. So that means the data set, it has the response variable is a categorical one means that process comes under the classification. Then regression means it is the process of finding a model or one function for differentiating the data into continuous real values instead of using classes. In classification process, the response variable is a categorical one, but in regression, the response variable or target or output is a continuous one, that is a numeric one. So this decision trees call it as an CART, that is classification and regression trees. So this decision tree is one of a machine learning technique. Next, I am going to give some brief introduction about machine learning techniques. So that is humans learn from past experiences. Machine follows instructions given by humans. In machine learning, making computers or machines modify or adapt their actions. Here actions means whether there is a prediction or controlling a robot or etc. Here these actions get more accurate. This is the meaning of machine learning. So the applications of this machine learning is It is widely used in medical diagnosis field, image processing field, then prediction, classification, regression, and also clustering. Here, next I'm going to tell about the types of machine learning. So the three main types are there. First one is supervised learning, then unsupervised learning. Third one is the reinforcement learning. So, today's topic comes under the supervised learning, that is classification and regression. First, that is supervised learning. So here, in supervised learning, a training set of examples with the correct responses provided. That means the output and the data set, it has a response variable also there. It has a response variable. So supervised learning, a training set of examples with the correct responses provided. Classification and regression, these two areas comes under this supervised learning. So the one of the example for the classification is image classification and fraud detection. These are all comes under the classification process. The best example for regression is weather forecasting is an example for regression process. So the next one is the unsupervised learning. Here, the data set is given, but the correct responses are not provided. But the unsupervised learning algorithms are try to identify the similarities between the input variables. So clustering concept comes under this category. So the example for the clustering is recommendation systems. So if you want to order some books in online means, so after typing in a search, after typing it in a browser, the list of available sellers are displayed in front of the panel. So this is an example for many recommendations are there. So that is an example for recommendation system. So in a supervised learning, that is the algorithms tries to identify the similarities between the inputs. Here, data set is given, but the correct responses are not provided. The next one is the reinforcement learning. So in a reinforcement learning, the algorithm gets told when the answer is wrong, but does not get told how to correct it. The example for this reinforcement learning are all the real-time decisions comes under this category. And also, best example is robot navigation. So these are the types of machine learning process. So this is one data set. It has many number of rows and some features are there. That is region, that is nation, then purchased item, age, and salary. These are the features of this data set. So this is the data set for whether the person is purchased the particular item is yes or not. So here some green color boxes are there. So that is represents the null values. That is the value is not known at that time. The value is not known. These are called it as an missing values. Here in this data set, the purchased item is a target value or a response or output. So this is an example for. So this data set is an example for classification because the response is category, whether it is yes or no. Next one is the structure of the classification and regression trees. So the classification and regression tree, it consists of a root node, terminal node, and many branches. So here the first I'm going to tell about root node. So the root node, the node that perform the first split. in the above example, that is just an animal example, the root node would be the question, does it have more than 5 legs? The answer is either true, that is yes or no. If it has no more than 5 legs means the next question is, that is second split, whether it is a wild animal, and like that. So here the more than 5 leg is a root node. That is the node that performs the first split. The next one is the terminal node. So the terminal nodes are nodes that predict the outcome or the target. In this example, the lion, mosquito, honeybee, all are the example for terminal nodes. Then branches, that is, it is used to connect two different nodes. It shows the flow from question to answer. Then many internal nodes are there, or non-leaf nodes are there, that are called as an decision nodes. The next one is the algorithm behind the decision tree. So it works by repeatedly partitioning the data into multiple subsets or subspaces. This is technically called as a recursive partitioning. So already I told about this. That is, it's either that is produced a result of this recursive partitioning algorithm. It produced a result. It consists of set of rules. That rules for used for predicting the outcome variable. It can be either a continuous variable or categorical variable. So if the output is continuous variable for regression trees, if the output is categorical variable means that's for classification trees. Here, the decision rules generated by CART are visualized as binary tree. The next one diagram is there, one plot is there. This plot, it shows us sample data for two independent variables. One is X, another one is Y. Each data point in this plot is colored by the red or gray. So this is an example for classification. Now, the CART tries to split this data into many subsets. The next slide. So the CART split, that is 3 splits. So the yellow color line, that is green color line, then this blue color line, second split, the purple color line that shows the third split. This diagram shows how decision tree algorithm performs the split. This diagram shows the algorithm how generate the decision tree for the above split. So first question is, if the variable, independent variable X is less than 60. First split test whether the variable X is less than 60. If it is yes, the model, that is predicted model, says the prediction is red. If the result is no, that is the rule says no means the model moves on to the next split. The previous example, you see that the independent variable, that is X is less than 60 means our model predicts the data points, it belongs in red color. So the next, the second split checks whether or not the variable Y is less than 20. If it is no, the model says the prediction is gray. But if it is yes, the model moves to the next split. This diagram also says that first check the variable Y is less than 20. If it is no means, that means greater means that is predicted gray. If it is less than 20 means the model moves to the next rule, that is third split. In third split, it checks, third split, it checks whether or not the variable x is less than 85. If it is true, the model says the prediction is red. Otherwise, it says the prediction is gray. Now, I'm going to tell about how this split is happened. So the split is based on three measures. That is, one is Gini index, the next one is the entropy, the third one is the information gain. The first one is the Gini index. So Gini index is the measure of inequality of distribution. So here we select two items from a population. The probability of two items is equal to 1 means the population is pure. That means lower the value of Gini index, it shows the higher homogeneity. That is, Gini index value is lower means it shows higher homogeneity. So the process to calculate Gini measure is equal to, that is, p square 1 minus summation of p j square. Pj is the probability of class j, the class either true or false. So the next measure, that is entropy. So it is a way to measure a impurity of a node. So that is here the entropy is 0, means the particular sample is completely homogeneous. The next one is the information gain. So in a decision tree algorithm, we start at the root and split the data on the feature that result in the largest information gain. So information gain tells us how important a given attribute is. One attribute, it has a highest information gain value, means that will act as a root node. That is the meaning of this one. That is, information gain tells us how important a given attribute. So next I'm going to tell about some basic concept in machine learning. So in a machine learning, first step is installing the R platform. So after installing, next you have to load the data set. Then we have to summarize the data set. That is how many instances are there, how many attributes are there, like that. Next, I'm going to build the model by using any one of the algorithm. So after building the model, next step is making some prediction. These are the process of machine learning in R. So first, installing the R platform. So R language, this R programming is not like C, C++, that. So it is one of the data analytical tool. So this R is a free and open source. It runs on major platform like Windows and Linux, Unix. So we can save our works in script also. The minimum requirement for this R software, that is 8 GB RAM, then i5 processor is enough. So here, first step is download and install R to get the useful machine learning packages. So to download R, we have to go to the R project web page. After downloading, next you have to install the R programming. So while installing, there are no special requirements are there. So if you have any doubt, go and check R installation and administration block. So after installing, next you have to start the R programming. So after starting R, so you will get this screen. So here one red color prompt is there. Here the space to type your commands. Then, so how to load and summarize the data set? First step is loading the data set. So for that, I am using read.delimiter function. Read.delimiter. If you want to access the CSV file, means you have to type read.csv. Here I have used one data set, that is Irish. It is one of the text type. So I have used read.delimiter function. Here the data set is imported and it is assigned to one variable, that is Irish. Now in our programming, the variable Irish has the data set. So this is the process of loading the data set. That is read.delimiter. This is the command. Then argument, you have to type the data set path. That is here the data set is present in the D drive. So next one is the summarize the data set. That means the time to take look at the data. What is the dimension of the data set? So we want to know the dimension of the data set. We use the command dim, dimension. So in the argument is the data set. The data set is Irish. So here the data set, it has 120 instance and 5 attributes. The next one is the type of the attributes. I want to know the type of the attributes. So for that, I have used sapply function. Sapply, it has 2 arguments. One is the data set, that is Irish. The second one is the class, that is the class variable set type of it says the type of the class variable, that is response variable. So in our example, sapply Irish data set, it has 5 attributes, 4 input and 1 output. The spaces is the output. The input are one flower, that is Irish flower, length and width is the length and width are the input. So the last one is the summary. So it shows the statistical summary about the data set. That is sepal width are there or sepal length are there. So this summary Irish, it says about the mean value of sepal width or sepal length. The next one is the how to install packages in R programming. So the packages are installed with the help of one command, install.packages, then followed by the argument is the required package. So for decision tree, the algorithm behind this decision tree is recursive partitioning, that is rpart. So for that, I'm going to install one package, rpart. After installing package, you have to call this function, that is library followed by the required package. Here the package is rpart. So here I used one data set, that is Irish, and I am going to build one model for predicting the species of Irish flower based on the length and width of sepal and petal. This is the concept. So here one case study, I'm going to build one model predicting the species of Irish flower based on the length and width of sepal and its petal. So I create one model. So the species are 3 class. One is Setosa, second one is the versicolor, the last one is the Virginica. These 3 are class variable, that is species. Species is the response. So I am going to build one model. First, I call the algorithm R part followed by the output variable, that is target or response. That is here in this example, species is the output. Then followed by a tilde symbol. Then you have to use the input. Here I used petal length and petal width as the input. So the model says the input is based on the petal length and petal width. I'm going to predict the species. So this is based on the data set. Data is equal to Irish. Data is equal to the given data set. My data set is reside in the variable Irish. So for that, the data is equal to Irish. So this is the model creation. First, I use the algorithm, then output variable, tilde symbol followed by input. So based on the petal length and petal width, I am going to predict the species of the Irish flower. So here, after model is created, the result is reside in the variable model. Now I am going to plot this model. So all the attributes has 3 digits. That is 2 point. Here the first root node is petal length. First check whether the petal length is less than 2.45. If it is no, means our model classified the particular flower species is Setosa. If the petal length greater than or equal to 2.45 means our model moves to the next split. In a second split, it checks the petal width is less than 1.75. If it is true, means our model predicts that the species of flower is versicolor. Otherwise, it says virginica. So this is the concept about model creation. So after creating a model, then I'm going to display the rules. The CART model generates the rules. So here, petal length less than 2.5 means our model says Setosa. Here, some stars are there, that is asterisks are there. So the asterisk denotes the terminal nodes. Here, 3 terminal nodes are there. One is Setosa, second one is the versicolor, third one is the virginica. Here the rules also say that. First rule, that is root, it says the petal length less than 2.5 means the particular flower class is Setosa. Otherwise, second split and the third split. So the rules is generated by the command print. The rule is reside in the variable model. So you have to call the model. Then the variable attribute values comes in 2 digit. That is a digit is equal to 2. This is the output of the function print. So it generates the rule. So after generating rule, I'm going to perform the prediction. So here, so to predict the sepal length of one flower, one new data arrives. The new data sepal length is 6.5 and its sepal width 3.0, petal length 5.2 and petal width is 2.0. Then I am going to predict this species of this particular Irish flower, whether it is virginica or Setosa, like that. So for that, the command is, first one is the data frame. Then you have to frame give the attribute values. Then you're going to predict. So for that, this I'm going to test this sepal length is equal to 6.5, sepal width 3.0, petal length 5.2, petal width 2.0. This is assigned to the variable new data. Now I am going to predict this new data belongs to which class. So here the predict function, it has 2 arguments. One is the new data, that is data frame result, that is new data, comma, Second one, you have to type the decision tree model. So either it is classification or regression. Here I am going to perform classification. So for that, here I type the second argument as class. The second option is ANOVA. Suppose I am going to predict a numeric value, means instead of class, I used ANOVA, like that. This is the difference between classification and regression. So based on this example, the output for this feature is, it says, our model says this flower belongs to the Virginica. That is, the new data is predicted to be Virginica. So these are all about the model creation and the prediction. Next, I'm going to tell about the performance measures. How accurate is our developed model? So I create a model using RPART, that is a decision tree. So to measure the performance of the classifications, have to use confusion matrix. That is, some measures are there. With the help of confusion matrix, we have to measure accuracy, precision, recall, and F measures. Suppose we use a regression problem, means to measure the performance of regression problems, we use mean square error or root mean square error, like that. So next I am going to talk about the confusion matrix. So this is for measuring the performance of the classification process. So confusion matrix is a table that is often used to describe the performance of a classification model. So our predicted, here the confusion matrix, it says, this column value says actual, says whether the actual says either yes or no. Similarly, the predicted model says either yes or no. So both actual says no, predicted also says no, then it is called as a true negative. Then the actual says no, predicted says yes, means this field is called as a false positive. Then actual says yes and the predicted says no, then this is called as a false negative. Then actual says yes and the predicted says yes, means this field is called as a true positive. In our case, the data set, it has total number of records are 165. Among the 165, the true negatives are 50 and the false negatives are 5. False positive is equal to 10. True positive is equal to 100. From this confusion matrix, I am going to find the accuracy. To calculate the accuracy, the formula is true positive plus true negative. That is 100 plus 50. That is 150 divided by total number of instances, that is 165. So is equal to 0.91. So the accuracy of this model is 0.91. Similarly, we're going to calculate the recall and precisions also. Recall is calculated by true positive divided by actual yes. So here, this example, true positive is 100 divided by actual yes, that is 105, says that is 0.95. So the recall says the recall is 95%, that is 0.95. Then precision is calculated by total, that is true positive divided by predicted yes, that is 100 divided by 110 is equal to 0.91. These are the ways to measure the accuracy, recall, and precision with the help of confusion matrix. Do you remember one thing? If you are using classification process means how to measure the performance based on this confusion matrix. The next one is the regression matrix. So regression metrics are example for regression metrics, that performance metrics are mean square error or root mean square error. So here the root mean square error is simply the average of the squared difference between the actual target value and the predicted target value. So here your data set, the temperature value is that is 36. The temperature value says in actual, that is data set 36. The predicted is 36.5. So y minus y bar. So the difference, simply the average, the squared difference between the actual target value and the predicted target value is called it as the mean square error. This is the way to measure the performance of regression problems. So now I am going to conclude this session. So decision tree is one of the best supervised learning techniques. It is used, comes under the two areas, that is either classification or regression. If your response is based on the categorical means, you have to prefer the classification. If your project, that in your project you are going to predict the numeric value means, you have to prefer the regression. So the suggested projects are, with the help of this concept, how to predict the gender of a person by his or her handwriting style. The second one is we are going with the help of this concept, we can able to predict the house price based on the area. Then we can able to we can able to predict the monsoon will be normal on next year. So also this concept is very much helpful to predict the number of admission in a college next year. And also it is useful to predict whether the tumor is cancer cell or not. So this is the this classification and regression is very much useful in your research and also the student project also. So these are the some references. So, okay, thank you. Thank you, participants.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. Wonderful presentation. And now, madam, wait for the queries from the participants. Participants, please use the chat window to raise your queries. Participants, please type your queries in the chat window. Here the hand raise option is not available. So please type your queries in the chat window. And a lot of positive comments in the chat window.
Thank you, sir.
Very good session. Consistent and committed effort. Very good. Very positive comments in the chat window.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the feedback link is given in the chat window. Please provide your feedback in that link. And a lot of positive comments. Very good presentation. Good explanation, madam. Very good session. Very nice session. It's great attending your session after 4 years. Informative session, madam. Like that.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, please enter your feedback.
Sir,
நம்ம இப்ப ஆடியோ அன்மியூட் பண்ணனா ஒரே நாய்ஸா இருக்குமோ?
ஆமா ஆமா. So if anybody needed, they can unmute and speak.
Yeah, if anybody want to ask any questions, You can unmute and you can speak. And I think one of your student is there in this group. Comment is, I am listening a college lecture after 12 years. Then another comment, very nice, Geeta madam, simply super with the exam. Good session, thank you madam.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, any more queries? Say today more than 80 participants participated in this webinar. So I request all of them to enter the feedback. Till now around 12 members only enter the feedback. So any of the faculty members here like to give a presentation or webinar, inform me, I will make the arrangements. Hope
And
everyone
also you
received
can,
the certificate. Yeah, Varun, continue.
Also, you can share your suggestion regarding this particular platform, as it is the first day. Whether we can continue this, or if any other suggestions there, you can suggest here.
So you can unmute your mic and you can give the suggestions.
जल्दी सर चलो है
Andros madam இருப்பாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Madam, if you like
Hello?
to speak something, you... Yeah, madam, continue. Sir, continue.
Geeta ma'am, it's very nice presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, regarding this app, somebody felt difficulties while entering this one.
Any difficulty? What are the difficulties they faced? And we can rectify that.
I actually don't know, because joining as a guest, it takes some time to enter, and again they have retapped that one.
Okay. Seri, madam, after this session, we will take up on that. What to do. Okay, any other comments, please?
Hello.
Varun, where are the instruction? Varun, any more instructions?
எல்லாருக்கும் ஆன்ல தான் மேம் இருக்குது.
Okay, Geeta madam, any closing note? Geeta madam?
Hello?
Any closing note, madam, regarding this?
Wait a minute, sir. Sir, first of all, I would like to thank the software self for giving this opportunity to me. Then the special thanks to Ando sir, Varun sir, Andros ma'am, Anskar and Rija ma'am for your motivation and continuous support. Thank you, participants. Thank you once again, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. Madam, thank you once again. You prepared well and presented nicely. So, if any queries, I think they will be asking you through phone because all are having your mobile number. Okay, thank you very much, madam. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I thank the management of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, our principal and deans and all the faculty members, HODs, for guiding us and helping us to organize this webinar. I also thank all the participants of this webinar. Thank you very much. Without your support, we cannot continue this webinar. So please, now we are able to accommodate around 250 members for this webinar. So you can share the link to your friends also. You can pass the information to your friends also. So the same link you can use that. That is xxcc.edu.in/software-cell/. This is the link. So the webinar will be hosted there. So you can click that link and come to the webinar. So the same link will be used. So there won't be any confusion in future. So if the participants go above 250, then we will be looking for some other platform. Till now, we may be using the same platform because as per your feedback, it is comfortable. Some difficulties are there. So that will be rectified in the next webinar itself. So for any queries, you can contact me, Anthony sir or Varun sir, regarding the software and how to log in and everything. So you can contact Varun sir or Anthony sir or myself at any time. Okay, thank you very much for all the participants. Anthony sir, can we any special note?
Okay, sir.
Anthony sir. So what about the feedback? Anthony sir. So some issues from the Anthony sir side. I'm not able to hear him. Till now, 65 participants entered their feedback. So I request all the participants to enter the feedback. It is mandatory because we are generating the certificate from the details available in the feedback form. So please enter the feedback. And if you need any new topics, please specify that. Any of you are willing to give a webinar like this, so please contact me. So I will make the remaining arrangements. Okay, thank you very much. Anthony sir.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, okay.
Wind up paniruma?
Yes, sir. Sir, regarding the app, they can join as a guest. Somebody signed in and there may be some problem. So you can, everybody in this webinar, you can suggest your friends to just add as a guest. They can add and there is no need for signing in and all those things. You just add as a, join as a guest. We will be accepting it. And also, if you are having any problems or suggestions regarding the app, also you can inform us. We will be clarifying it. Andrew sir?
Can we wind up?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Varun. Thank you, Anthony sir, for making this a success one. So Varun, we can wind up.
Okay, sir. Thank you.